And as you've been, the longer you've been around, the more accepted you are. Because the people that were there at the beginning who were like 19 and now not teenagers, and the other ones, they just accept you if you've been around for about 4 or 5 years. So they start thinking there might be something in it after all.
But is music changing to cater for a wider place?
No, I don't think so. Not those kinds of music, not the Beatles or anything. I don't think they're really trying to appeal to sort of older people particularly.
Would you like to see the rock and roll come back the way it used to be a few years ago?
Old-fashioned kind of rock. No, I think it's
strong, upbeat.
I think it's much better now because the music that's rock and roll now is much better than it was then. It was just wilder then. There was no discipline or anything in it. Like a bit of discipline.
It's your new music, the type of sound you want to hear.
Is the Stones music. I quite enjoy listening to it. But there's only just one facet of what we like to do. The album that we've just done. It's just one kind of thing. I don't want to do that at all. I don't think I want to do that kind of thing anymore.
Were you affected by the hippie or the flower power movement?
Affected? I don't know. It's difficult to tell whether you affect or you are affected via sort of things like flower power. I don't know. We were getting into sort of beads and hats and flowers when we did the London Palladium show last Christmas. But so we got a bit fed up with it before the summer came.
Hey everybody, welcome to part 7 of my Stones in the 60s album deep dive. Today I'm talking about their 7th studio album, Beggars, Banquet. This was the original cover. The band cover, which was not originally released but on subsequent reissues of the album, is the only one available, although for the 50th anniversary they did restore, I believe, a slipcase of what was known as kind of the more white, formal, looked like an invite to some sort of fancy party. That cover was in a slipcase, I believe, to the 50th anniversary version, but this was the original concept for the album. This photograph, or these photographs, were taken by Barry Feinstein, who was sort of a photographer for the stars in the 50s and the 60s. Apparently that was too tasteless for the record label. They would not release it, which it seemed so ridiculous at the time. Like, yeah, it's a dirty bathroom with graffiti on the wall, but is it all that offensive? There's no profanity. There's nothing explicit or objectionable on here, but anyway, that's the 1960s for you. So anyway, Beggars Banquet, it was released on December 6th, 1968, and it's really hard to fathom the fact that barely 11 and a half months before, the Rolling Stones had issued the Satanic Majesty's Request album. Regardless of how you feel about that album, it is light years away from the Beggars Banquet album. And this was the first album that they would utilize an outside producer not named Andrew Loog Oldham. Jimmy Miller, this heralded in what I consider to be one of the greatest periods in Rolling Stones recording history. Beggars Banquet all the way through Goat's Head Soup. Jimmy Miller, it was such a magic period for the Stones. I don't think I'm alone in many people considering this the golden period. Glenn Johns called it the Rolling Stones coming of age. Finally, their albums were consistently on par with the Beatles' releases. Aftermath, of course, was a worthy competitor to the Beatles' Revolver, but I'm not sure Satanic Majesty's Request was really in competition with either Magical Mystery Tour or Sgt. Pepper's. But anyway, the Beatles versus the Stones is a discussion for an entirely different video. But Beggars Banquet, this would be the last album to feature Brian Jones as a full member of the band. And believe it or not, even in spite of the long history where the narrative has been Brian Jones barely contributed at all to Beggars Banquet, he actually plays on 8 songs, and some of the instruments that he plays on, if you think about it, yeah, those are totally Brian Jones influenced sounds. Like, for instance, he plays the sitar on Street Fighting Man, he plays slide guitar on No Expectations, harmonica on Parachute Woman, Dear Doctor, and Prodigal Son, maracas on Sympathy for the Devil, and mellotron on Jigsaw Puzzle and Stray Cat Blues, which I think unless you're listening very closely, it's not like there's a very pronounced mellotron. But anyway, he is there. But there's no denying that he was slowly checking out, both mentally and also physically. He had gone deeper and deeper into drug use. He would be absent from the studio for many days, many sessions at a time, and then just show up with a sitar and expect to play. Glenn Johns has said a lot of times Mick and Keith were instructing Glenn Johns, just tell him to get the hell out of here. At this point, he was extremely unreliable, to the point that Mick and Keith didn't even want him around. So is he on the album? Yes. Is he meaningfully contributing? That's kind of debatable. But there's no question that Mick and Keith had developed so significantly and impressively as songwriters. This is a phenomenal collection of songs, and I think it stands alongside the Stones' best work. And Steve at All the World's a Stage, I know you're going to disagree, but I maintain this is one of the Stones' greatest albums. So anyway, let's get into the songs themselves on Beggars Banquet. The album kicks off with Sympathy for the Devil, and now 2 albums running, we have this satanic theme, Satanic Majesties, now Sympathy for the Devil. Whatever the Stones' preoccupation with the occult is, it makes for a great, fun listening experience. Sympathy for the Devil is nothing less than a Stones classic, and it's about the most experimental song on the album, at least as far as the songs we were used to getting Between the Buttons, Aftermath, and Satanic Majesties. You have Brian Jones, who's playing the sitar and the tambura. There's maracas, a lot of African rhythms in this song. And yeah, it's a sinister way to start out the album, but it's also a very effective one. Sympathy for the Devil is an unmistakable classic.
Thank you kindly, good evening and welcome. Later on we shall be talking with John Betchman and Nicole Williamson about a subject that concerns us all. But first, a first. the first performance of the Rolling Stones by the Rolling Stones in a television studio for over a year. The song is from their new LP, Beggars, Banquet, and it's called Sympathy for the Devil. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Mick Jagger, Mr. Keith Richard, Mr. Brian Jones, Mr. Charlie Watts, and Mr. Bill Wyman, or to give them their proper title, the Quiet Young Gentlemen of the Rolling Stones.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul of faith. I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure the pilot washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for a change. Killed the Tsar and
next track is No Expectations. Is it country blues or bluesy country? However you slice it, it's a fantastic second song. Mick Jagger singing in a tone that we've never heard him sing before. He has almost like a bit of a southern drawl. That excellent slide guitar from Brian Jones just makes the song. Yeah, it's mellow, it's folky. Everybody was returning back to basics. The Beatles, Bob Dylan, and the Rolling Stones were following suit, but just an excellent second song.
Station and put me on the train. I've got no expectations to pass through here again. Once a rich man, now I am so poor, but never in my sweet short life have I felt like this before. Your heart is like the diamond, you throw your pearls at swine, and as I watch you leaving me, you pay my peace of mind. The water that splashes on a stone. Our love is like our music was here and then it's gone. So take me to the airport and put me on a plane. I've got no expectations to pass through here again.
The third track, Dear Doctor, is so much fun. You have the Stones singing in this mock southern drawl, a tale about a guy who's trying to get out of getting married, But this song is kind of a harbinger for other Rolling Stones songs that would follow, like Dead Flowers and Faraway Eyes. But the Stones definitely had an affection for country. Graham Parsons' influence would start to permeate the songwriting of Keith Richards and, to an extent, Mick Jagger. But this song is everything it's advertised. A really, really fun track. I love Dear Doctor.
Oh, help me, please, doctor, I'm damaged. There's a pain where there once was a heart. It's sleeping, it's a beating. Can't you please tear it out and preserve it right there in that jar? Oh, help me, please, mama, I'm sickening. It's today, that's the day of the plunge. Oh, the gal I'm to marry is a bow-legged sow. I've been soaking a drink like a sponge.
The fourth track, Parachute Woman, is a song that we haven't heard from the Stones in what seemed like a very long time in 1968. The last time the Stones covered a blues track, if I'm not mistaken, was on the Aftermath album, Don't You Bother Me. But in any event, it is a welcome return to form. This time the Stones doing some country blues, but it also is a kick-ass song as well. I love the slide guitar on here. The guitar playing from Keith Richards is top-notch. Parachute Woman is one of the most underrated deep cuts in the Stones catalog.
Parachute woman, land on me tonight. Parachute woman, land on me tonight. I breathe big in the walls and I overspill Carolina. Parachute woman, join me for a ride. Parachute woman, join me for a ride. I make my bed down singing how to get it half the time.
The last track on side one is Jigsaw Puzzle. This might be my least favorite song on the album, and I don't dislike it. It's just not a favorite of mine off this record. But you've got more twangy slide guitar. Mick Jagger, again, singing in a voice that has a different timbre, a different tone, a different resonance than what we had heard from him previously. And if there's one fault that I have with this song, I think it just goes on too long. There's too many verses. They're not Bob Dylan. It's the Rolling Stones. I think if they had shortened it a little bit, but I love everything else about the song. I love the arrangement. All of that twangy guitar just sells it so well for me.
There's a tramp sitting on my doorstep, trying to waste his time with his methylated sandwich. He's a walking clothesline. And here comes the bishop's daughter on the other side. And she looks a trifle jealous. She's been an outcast all her life. Me, I'm waiting so patiently, lying on the floor. I'm just trying to do my
Street Fighting Man opens side 2. Boy, what strong side openers on this record. Sympathy for the Devil on side A, and then the incredible Street Fighting Man to start off the second side of this record. Street Fighting Man is a classic Stones anthem. You have the sitar from Brian Jones. I love the percussion on this track. Jagger's vocal, again, he's trying so many different things with his voice, and he's really extending himself. There's nothing to dislike about this song. Everything about it is classic Stones. The Stones were on fire beginning in 1968. Street Fighting Man is pure, just incredible rocking Stones. I love the song. Prodigal Son is another country blues song, and it was credited to Jagger and Richards, but actually this is a cover song of a Robert Wilkins classic biblical blues song, but the Stones do it so faithfully. I love, again, more twanginess in the guitar, more of that southern drawl in Jagger's voice.
Poor boy took his father's bread, started down the road, took all he had, started down the road, going out in this world, well, God only knows, and that'll be the way to get along.
Stray Cat Blues is a down and dirty, no bullshit, straightforward Stones rock and roll track. One of the few tracks that actually kicks ass on this album, and I only mean kick ass in a heavy way. I don't mean in terms of the quality of the song. Stray Cat Blues is one of those tracks that probably should have been bigger than it was. They could have actually probably released it as a single, and it would have done well. It's a classic deep cut. I really enjoy Stray Cat Blues just for the dirtiness of it, the sleaziness of it. It has such a raw, ragged sound to it.
Click clack of your feet on the stairs. I know you're no scared, honey. You'll be a beast if you just come upstairs, but it's no hanging matter. It's no capital crime. I can see that you're 15 years old. No, I don't want your ID. I can see that you're so far from home, but that's no hanging matter. It's no capital crime. Oh yeah, you're a strange stray cat. Oh yeah, don't just scratch like that. Oh yeah, you're a strange stray cat. I bet your mama don't know you scream like that. I bet your mama don't know you spit like that.
Then we have more country in the song Factory Girl. You got some mandolin on this track. Almost a bluegrass kind of arrangement. Again, Jagger singing in his southern drawl. I can see this being people's least favorite song on the album, if it in fact is. It's a bit slight. The Stones paying homage again to country music. And it's not a track that I dislike. Factory Girl works for me pretty well.
Waiting for a girl who's got curls in her hair.
last song on the album is Salt of the Earth, another song that really wants desperately to be an anthem, and I guess in its own way, it does have sort of a epic quality to it. Salt of the Earth has, for the first time, a solo Keith vocal, not for the entire track, but the first time we hear Keith singing solo. He would have a song all to himself on the next album, obviously. Salt of the Earth is a pretty effective album closer. I have no complaints about this one. It's not my favorite song on the album. I don't know if it would even be top 5 songs on the album, but it has a bit of a charm to it, and I do like how it starts kind of slow and not much in the way of instrumentation, and then it builds and it kind of climaxes at the end. But a very decent album closer to what, for me, is one of the Stones' all-time greats.
Let's drink to the hard-working people. Let's think of the lowly of birth. Raise your glass to the good and the evil. Let's drink to the salt of the earth.
Say a prayer for the common foot soldier. Spare a thought for his back-breaking work. Spare a thought for his wife and his children, who burn the fires and who still till the earth. And when I look into this faceless crowd, a swirling mass of gray, blue, black and white, they don't look real to me. In fact, we all look so strange. Yeah. Raise your glass to the hard-working people. Let's drink to the uncounted heads. Let's think of the wavering millions who need leading but get gamblers instead. Spare a thought for the stay-at-home voter, whose empty eyes gaze at strange beauty shows, and at parades of grey-suited grafters, a choice of cancer or polio.
So anyway, that's my take on Beggars Banquet. Let me know what you think of the album. Thanks again for watching. One more to go.